Hey gang, Scott here. This video is part of a series about the blending modes in ON1, ON1 Photo Raw, ON1 Effects, and here we're talking about the soft light blending mode. If you want to see all the videos in the series, the playlist is growing as the videos are being added. Link is in the show notes. Also, if you are adding ON1 to your toolkit, maybe upgrading your software, looking at the plugins, check the show notes. There's an offer code down there. Save you a little bit of money, give me a little bit of support, and I can do more videos like this. So soft light, this is another one of the blending modes that does a contrast increase for the photo overall. It's like in the low end of contrast boosting. The previous video in this series, overlay, is kind of like the middle ground, and that's really a good starting point. But if overlay is for whatever reason just too much, take a look at soft light and you can see what it does. And I describe these types of blending modes as valley modes because they take your histogram and push the ends out and leave kind of like a valley in the middle, increasing contrast, more brights, more shadows, a little less in the midtones. And my favorite use for it is with texture blending. It's when I have textures and I just need a softer touch on it. Well, soft light is the one I go to. Let me show you how it works. And this photo here, a couple of palm trees against a relatively empty sky, very grayish day that day. And I want to add a texture to this. My preferred way of doing textures is in the layers area. So let me add in a texture. Let me go back up to my textures, and there's one that I want to add that I think will be really cool looking. This one here from a Kyoto pack that I put together for myself. We'll add that texture. As we know, it starts off with this completely opaque texture. That's the normal blending mode. Now we'll change the blending mode to soft light, and it just really blends nice, smooth, soft soft light. What I want to show you here is the difference here between soft light and overlay. You can see that soft light is just a softer version of overlay. So here's soft light, here's overlay, right? Soft light, overlay. And from a little bit of experimentation, if we choose overlay and kind of drop it to say 50-ish%, that's about soft light, right? So if I crank that all the way back up, switch that back to soft light is about half as strong as overlay. So you can use that as a guideline. I'd start with these types of blending mode, these valley blending modes, and I'll explain what that is with the histogram here in a moment. But these valley blending modes, they start with overlay, and if that's too strong, you're just not able to pull back the intensity of that mode enough, switch over to soft light, then you have more latitude on that end of the spectrum. So that's like soft light in a nutshell, and my favorite use case is with textures. If you watch the overlay video, you saw me use an effects filter as a finishing touch to add a contrast pop using the overlay blend mode. You can do the same thing with soft light, just to a lesser extent. It's a little more of a nuanced look. Let me show you how that works. Here's the same photo I used in the overlay video, and we have this color enhancer, and I added the color enhancer and changed the blend mode to overlay. Let's repeat these steps, so if you didn't see the other video, you know what's going on. Color enhancer, no changes to the slider, open up the gear area, and change the blending mode. In this case, I'll start with overlay and drop it to about 20%. Now, in the histogram, before the color enhancer, and after, and if I made that 100%, you can see what I'm talking about. Like it creates this valley here in the histogram. Now that same valley can be done with the soft light mode, but you'll see it's less. Overlay is more dramatic, soft light's a little less, hard light's like really strong, vivid light's super duper strong. You get the idea. These are all variations on that contrast. And with soft light, you have a little more control on the nuance of how much of that contrast pop you can do as a finishing touch. So watch the overlay video for a deeper explanation of what this color enhancer, flipping the blending mode thing is doing. But just know that you can use soft light when you need more control. Because soft light is a softer touch on that contrast, you can dial that opacity slider in and really fine-tune things if the quick recipe with overlay isn't working for you. So that's the soft light blending mode. I like it for textures. Sometimes I'll use it for this contrast pop. And those are my two go-to use cases for this particular blending mode. Hope you found the video useful. Got questions? Go ahead and drop them below. And until next time, my name's Scott Davenport. Have fun.